The Australian energy market operator is warning of more pain ahead, with an energy shortfall predicted in Queensland and New South Wales tonight as a result of plummeting temperatures and skyrocketing energy prices. Joining us live now is Sarah McNamara, Chief Executive of the Australian Energy Council. Appreciate your time, thank you. Are you expecting we will see this winter being plagued by blackouts in some parts of the country?
At the moment, we've got enough supply in the market to be able to keep the lights on through winter, but there's no denying it is a very challenging situation, and the market operator is working closely with industry to ensure we have sufficient generation for households and business customers.
And so what are they exactly doing to ensure that that is the case?
Well, at the moment, there's a price cap in the market, which is the result of sustained prices in the wholesale market so high that price has needed to be capped. The market operator is also requiring some generation units to come online, even though it may not be commercially attractive for them to do so. And the market operator is using its power to require generators to come online to ensure we have sufficient supply in the system. We may also at some point see load shedding occur. That's where the market operator, through contracts it already has in place with large industrial users, can ask and require those industrial users to stop their large amounts of consumption in order to manage our load a little bit better as well. So there's a lot of devices for the market operator to employ. The market operator is working very hard with the industry at the moment, and it's a very tight and stressful situation, but for the moment we believe the lights should be able to stay on through winter.
We are standing by to hear shortly from the Energy Minister, Chris Bowen. Do you think the government is far off from pulling that so-called gas trigger to guarantee domestic supply on the East Coast? Do you think that would be a good idea?
Well, the domestic gas security mechanism is not entirely useful for the current situation. The way it's set up in legislation, the government's required to do a period of consultation with the gas producers. That would take several months, and effectively the mechanism couldn't be triggered until 1 January next year. Now, we understand Minister King is undertaking a review of the mechanism and how it might be able to be improved. But I think people should consider the impact breaking into existing international long-term contracts, the kind of impact that would have on Australia, and the potential for sovereign risk is very much there. So any domestic gas reservation approach should really not be retrospective, should be for prospective gas reserves.
Sarah, how have we got to this point? I mean, clearly this isn't a problem that's just popped up overnight, and as you say, it isn't one that's going to be fixed in the short term.
Like most crises, it's not just the result of one factor at play. There are several things happening in our market at the moment. Some of them are transient and others are longer term. Firstly, we've seen globally a real tightening in coal and gas markets, largely due to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. That has made supply tighter generally and prices higher, which impacts us here in Australia. Secondly, we have quite a few coal plant outages along the east coast of Australia. These are unscheduled outages, but maintenance work needs to be done to some of these units to ensure they can continue to operate safely and productively. Most of those plants will be back online within the next couple of months, so we'll see a slight easing of that pressure in the near future. But also, we're in the winter months, it's cold, demand is higher, and seasonally speaking, it's not a great time for wind and solar to be generating. We're not getting as much output from wind and solar plants, so we're not able to rely on them quite as much. And when coal plants out, then we rely on gas a little bit more in our system, but gas prices are just really high as well. So there's a number of moving parts that have created the situation we're in at the moment. It is going to be pretty tight for the next couple of months, but we would expect as the warmer weather comes in later this year, we'll see some easing of those supply pressures.
Residents in some states have been told they should be trying to conserve their power usage at the moment. Is there anything else that the average Australian sitting at home watching this interview should be doing to try to do their bit towards this?
Look, there's no question that there is upward pressure on prices, and people are going to find their electricity bills are going to be somewhat higher over the next while. So we really encourage people to ring their retailer and make sure they're on the cheapest deal for their circumstances. And at home, consider energy efficiency measures and whether you might be able to put downward pressure on your electricity bill by perhaps not using quite as much electricity.
Sarah McNamara, appreciate you joining us. Thanks so much for your analysis.
Thank you.